I'm Lindsay Smith with Real Agriculture. Joining me now is OMAFRA Minister Ernie Hardeman from Oxford County. Minister Hardeman, thank you so much for making time for us today.
Well, thank you very much, Lindsay. We're happy to be here.
All right. So now, Minister Hardeman, you've served in this post before. What's some of the biggest changes between last time and this brand new government?
Well, I think, obviously, first of all, I want to say I have been there before, but I'm just as excited this time that I was able to be picked by the Premier to serve as Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs in his government. And obviously, we're looking forward to working up our support with the farmers and our rural communities to make sure that we all thrive to make it a better province. The priorities, of course, are many, but as it changed, the issue somewhat changed between when I was there last time to now. But obviously, the need to support our farmers and to come forward with policies that encourage agriculture and help it along hasn't changed much. There was challenges when I was there years ago with red tape and support programs, and obviously one of the biggest issues today is still red tape and support programs.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Now, of course, your government has also, did campaign on bringing down hydro rates and delivery fees. What can farmers expect on that file?
Well, I think obviously we did promise to make life more affordable for all Ontarians, which includes farmers and feed processors. But our number one concern in the rural area is to build rural Ontario, to make sure that we get some more value added onto our production. We are the best, one of the best producers in the world. But in order to grow our community, we have to make sure we also become a processing place of choice. And so obviously we have to look at providing the services they need. I know some of the things that the agriculture community has been asking for is to expand the gas services in rural Ontario so we can have the appropriate fuel to run our corn dryers and our equipment, and the other thing, of course, is the broadband. So much of the technology coming in now, there's so many things we need broadband for, and there's a lot of places in rural Ontario that do not have sufficient capacity there. So that was some of the things we talked about during the campaign, and of course it's some of the things that we will be delivering on as we move forward.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned, of course, processing here. The fruit and vegetable industry, a huge part of Ontario agriculture and very labor intensive, and of course farming in general is. Some have voiced, their struggle with the increased minimum wage, and of course, an increase even further. What's the plan for this going forward?
Well, I think it's very important to recognize. Obviously, the minimum wage is a major concern, but the even bigger concern in the labor-intensive part of agriculture is being able to get workers at any price. There's a shortage of people who want to work on the farm, and I had a meeting with the federal minister and with all the other provincial ministers just last week, and one of the main items of discussion was the temporary workers program that doesn't seem to be working as well as it should, and there's a lot of concern about how it operates and how much work that each individual must go through to get someone to come and work on the farm. The length of time it takes, a lot of times they're no longer needed by the time the approval arrives. And so all the ministers, including the federal minister, agreed that we were going to look at that to see if we couldn't streamline that process to make it more advantageous to our agriculture community.
All right. Now, specifically in recent news, I'm actually a sheep producer as well, wearing my other hat. And we were waiting on word regarding some funding through the CAP program, but we've been told that program is in sort of stasis right now. When can we expect that to be resolved, and what's going on there?
Well, obviously, before the election, there were a number of applications being processed, and the government, the bureaucracy of the day through the Secretary of Cabinet decided to put a hold on all funding decisions until the election was over. So the new minister or the old minister, whoever was to come in, would have an opportunity to look at them all as to which was the most appropriate to take the government in the direction that it needed to go and help the most number of people. So we are presently. I have been diligently each day, every time we have a spare moment, going through the applications and the approval process, and we hope to have answers on some of them in very short order.
All right. So do you know then if the CAP program, there is another intake that's set to begin in 2 weeks, will that actually open, or is that also on hold?
Actually, that was just an issue we were discussing yesterday, and we haven't come to a conclusion yet as to whether, in deciding whether you should open for new ones before you have the other ones dealt with. And so I really can't answer that today, but we will be dealing with the ones that are on and with the timing of the next phase very soon.
All right. Wearing my farmer hat, I will tell you that there are a lot of people planning businesses that would like to know if they got that funding or not. So
yes, and I'm talking in days, not months.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, great to know. Now, last question. Thinking back to our past government, there certainly seemed to be a lot of influence from other ministries on the ag portfolio. What's your plan to bring the power back to the ag portfolio for the agriculture industry?
Well, I think rather than talking about bringing power from one place to the other, I think what really becomes important is to work together with all the ministries for the common good, which is to promote the growth of agriculture and the sustainability of agriculture. When the Ministry of the Environment is concerned with what's going on in agriculture, we don't want to eliminate them. We want to work with them to get their questions answered as quickly as possible and their approvals coming through more expeditiously. So we've already had a number of issues that I've met with other ministers to get their opinion on, and I think a perfect example is the infrastructure minister obviously does the infrastructure funding. And when I talked earlier about the gas and the broadband expansion, and obviously the funding for that would come through infrastructure. So it's very important that we do a better job of working together rather than working as independent silos, and that's what we're working towards.
All right, Minister Hardeman, thank you so much for making time for us today, and we do very much look forward to seeing what happens in the days to come.
No problem at all. Any time we can do it, that's the only way we can be successful is to get our message out, and you're the most important person to do that.
All right. Thank you so much.